everyone. Welcome to the Financial Advisors Want to Know podcast. I'm Catherine Tindall. I'm a CPA with Dominion Enterprise Services. We are a specialty tax and accounting firm that works for financial advisors as their strategic tax advisors. In today's episode, I have Katie Braden here with me. She's a CFP and an 18-year veteran in the financial planning industry who founded Advisor Video Marketing. Hint, hint, today's episode is all about videos. To merge her love for financial planning in the transformative power of video. So thank you so much for joining me today, Katie.
Yeah, Catherine, this is going to be a fun one.
I know. I almost wonder if we should get like light shows going on behind us.
Oh man, I didn't have that one prepped up. Should I just keep changing the background back here?
Just
for people
keep like
on video.
Is that how short everybody's attention span is these days? You just have to like, it's got to be a strobe effect. Well, it's funny, like the recording date of this, I've been watching a lot of people went to Future Proof this year, and just some of the content that's coming out of there and just all the like glitz and glam and that sort of thing. It's just really, really funny to see some of that stuff. But so today we're going to be talking about video. It's something that I'm really interested in. It's something that I actually don't see very many advisors do, which I find a little bit surprising. So I would love to hear kind of some of your experiences, and we can just have a very normal conversation about what you've been seeing for advisors who are interested in getting video as part of their marketing, and, you know, more specifically, you know, maybe some of the tech involved, and then some of the you know, things that you've seen people use as a, you know, maybe mental roadblock for not pursuing doing video. But yeah, where would you like to start the conversation, Katie?
So I was actually thinking about this at the gym this morning. And I've been like, I feel like we can explain a lot of things in life right now in like a pendulum swing. And so I was thinking about advisors and advisors that are doing video, advisors that aren't doing video, but really every advisor is doing video if we just think about virtual meetings. Right. Yeah. They're on video in their virtual meetings, and they're like one side of the pendulum. They look terrible. They sound terrible. They are doing everything wrong. Like, we all went virtual unexpectedly, and everyone just developed a whole heap of bad habits that they never got over. So I definitely want to talk about that. But then we have the other side of the pendulum, which is so funny. Advisors that are like, everything has to be perfect on video.
Yeah.
Like, no, it doesn't, because that actually isn't relatable. It isn't fun. It isn't engaging. So like, we've got these two extremes, and I'm kind of on a mission to like bring everybody right to the center where we're like easy, authentic. And I know some people are like, oh, don't say the word authentic. When I say that, I mean, we want to see the same you on video that we would meet in person. I don't want some professional, everything's perfect. You got your hair and makeup done. You've got a whole script. That's not interesting. Like, who am I going to meet at a networking event? That's who I want to see on video.
Yep. No, that is such a great point. And it's funny because I've done a number of like education courses and things like that for accountants. And then, you know, they've come on and we've had conversations afterwards, and they were like, oh, like, you're the same as you are when you do your presentations. I'm like, yeah, how else am I going to be?
Right? I only have time in life to be one person.
Yeah. Like, I'm struggling enough just being me. Like, who else am I going to be? But, so for advisors who, all right, I would love to talk a little bit about your recommendations for Zoom and just client facing, you know, direct, like one-to-one client content, because I think for most people, that's the most immediate use case. And if you can get more comfortable with doing that well, I feel like that's the gateway to start like, okay, well, I feel comfortable in these client interactions. Like, why don't I post something to Instagram, or like, why don't I try something on LinkedIn because I have a nice setup and I'm more comfortable with this medium. So what's your advice for people wanting to kind of up their game in terms of just like Zoom, you know, client conversations?
So I have 5 key things with that. And I'm going to go in order of importance for the first one. Tilt your cameras down. You all love your ceilings. We don't love your ceilings. Nobody needs to see your ceilings. I am in meetings all day, every day with advisors, and I'm like attending webinars, and everybody's like down here hiding at the bottom. And then like, it's just their ceiling. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's so weird. It's so distracting. So like, tilt those cameras down. So the easiest way to remember this is when you think about like your framing, where you're positioning the camera, you should always have more room below your chin than above your head, right?
All right, well, I'm going to sit up straight after listening to that.
repositioning. But like camera is the next best thing to being in person, right? We are emulating what it feels like to sit across the table from someone. So we want to see your hand gestures, right? We want to feel like we're sitting across from you, not like you've been dropped down a well and we're like, oh no, is she okay? What's happening?
Oh, I love that.
So that's
And in
number
terms of,
one.
okay, number one. All right, what's
Yeah.
number two?
Number two would be backgrounds, because everybody is still using those fake virtual Zoom blur backgrounds. Please, I would love like somebody to come in and ban those. Wildly distracting. Most humans are very visual, and you're financial advisors. You're having very serious conversations with people, right? Prospects, clients. You're talking about emotional things. You're telling them if they can meet their goals in life, and half of them are sitting there counting how many fingers you have on your hands. Like, that's not the conversation you should be having. So think about just like when you're in person, right? People put so much effort into bringing in decorators and spending tons of money on paintings and getting fresh flowers every week. Invest just a little bit of money and time into having a professional setup so that people can be fully present with you and you can feel good in your space, right? Everybody's hiding their background because they don't feel good in your space. Well, we can make little tweaks so that you do feel good in your space. And that's going to come through in those virtual meetings.
Yeah, that is very true. And honestly, like I've found, not that I have the best background or best setup, but at least doing something, can get you a good percentage of the way there. What's number three?
Number three is audio. So advisors sound terrible. Again, what are these distractions? You're having serious meetings, people. You need to be allowing people to be fully present. And so invest in like a $60 microphone, right? Don't go buy an $800 microphone. Nobody's going to hear the difference, but get like a $60 Samson Q2U off Amazon. Like
Which is
that.
this guy.
Yep. Right? Super easy, plug and play, no big deal. It's going to make a world of difference.
Yeah, that's great. And so, okay, are we on number four now?
Yep. Number four is lighting. So make sure you do not have a window behind you, right? On an airplane, an exit row might be behind you, but a window should always be in front of you. So if you have a window, try to always look out, which is also just good for your soul, right? Look outside, like see some sunshine. So have a little bit of lighting, because I do get on calls with advisors and I'm like, I can't see your face. Like it's just, again, that distraction. Invest in like a $30, just get a tiny little, soft box that you can attach to your desk or something to just provide a little bit of fill light. Not something so you're going to get like blinded and get headaches, but just a little bit. You should be the best lit thing in your frame.
Yeah, that's great. All right. And then number five to round it out.
Number five is getting an actual HD camera. So a 1080p. Most advisors are still using 720. And so they're on webinars, they're doing all these things. Their camera quality is atrocious. It's almost 2025. Like, let's level up. You really don't need 4K yet. We're not there. Those files are way too big, but 1080 is foundational table stakes right now.
Yeah. And in terms of like actual camera setup, do you have a recommendation of like a specific one that you've seen people like that's easy for people to use?
Yeah, just like a Logitech Brio. Honestly, that's like one of the most popular ones, right? And I have tons of advisors that will get like a knockoff version, a Nexigo for $30 on Amazon, right? Again, you can do all of this for like $100. Get an HD camera, a $30 light, a $60 microphone, maybe $150, and it'll be a whole lot better.
Yeah, that's great. And so, improving that video experience for people, I'm sure makes a huge difference, especially in being able to build rapport with people quickly because they can see you, they can hear you well. It feels like you're there with them instead of just, you're like this fuzzy, dark, looming presence, like in a strange setting with a fake background. So people get their setup nice and cleaner internally, and then they start playing around with, okay, maybe I'm going to start doing some like online content. Like I have things I can share with the world and things that I think people who aren't clients should hear from me. What have you seen for advisors that are starting to make forays into making actual content, like video content that they put out there? Hey there, Catherine here. Thanks for listening to the conversation. Just wanted to explain a little more about what we do. So, I'm a CPA here with Dominion. We're a tax firm that works specifically for financial advisors as they're growing and scaling their practices to help them avoid tax waste, make the right calls, and grow practices that they love. So, if you're interested in saving more, you can DM me on LinkedIn with the word guide, and I'll send you over our guide for financial advisors to scale tax efficiently. All my top tips to unlock six-figure savings. Thanks and keep enjoying the show.
So the biggest barrier is actually confidence, like building comfort and confidence on camera. And advisors come up with all sorts of other excuses, but that's what it boils down to. So I actually recommend before they even do that, starting with one-to-one video emails. Either to like your longest term client to literally just spontaneously say, like, Catherine, I've so enjoyed working with you for the last 25 years. I just wanted you to know how much I appreciate our relationship, right? These should be less than 60 seconds. And the thing that does, right? I don't want you to have your hair and makeup and everything perfectly done. Just have your setup that we just talked about and just start practicing sending these, because especially if you can send spontaneous ones, send it for happy birthday, happy graduation, happy retirement, whatever it is. Then people will write back and they'll be like, that was so cool. Or if you ever mess up something with a client, you miss a deadline, you screw something up, sending a video where you say, oh my gosh, Catherine, I'm so sorry. We really dropped the ball on this. I want you to know how much you mean to us. That is so much more impactful than text. And so when you get those responses back where people are like, wow, that was amazing. Like there are stats out there that say we remember 95% of what's in video and only 10% of what's in text. So that will just naturally build your confidence. You'll get that feedback loop. You'll be like, oh yeah, I don't have to be perfect. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. And they'd be like, cool, now can we take that next step and start to get some of that content out onto social?
That is really good advice. And it's funny that you say that because that's something that I've implemented in my own practice where it's like if anything has an emotional rating of above like a 2 out of 10, it either needs to be over a phone call or it needs to be in a video format. And so like something we do in our firm, we use a tool called Loom. And so most of the time, if I'm having to send anything that's technical over to somebody where it's going to be more than maybe 1 or 2 lines, or if I sense that there's going to be any emotional impact charged to that, I'll take the time and record a video and send them a video over. Because once you have everything set up, it takes like 30 seconds. And honestly, a lot of the time it's faster than you typing out a full big long email. And some of the tools that they have now, like in Loom in particular, it gives you a transcript. And so I can just rattle off like, here's the message you need to know, client, about this estimated tax payment, or we're going to be doing an S corporate or whatever it is. You can pull the transcript off and then I run it through ChatGPT to ask for a summary. And then that usually produces a really good initial draft of the email too.
Yeah.
So that's,
all the tools that are out there, like we have come leaps and bounds, honestly, just in the last 3 years. So there really is no excuse for advisors to not be leveraging this stuff because it's just way easy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I found in my process of getting more comfortable on camera, a big piece was, recording those Looms and then watching them and being like, oh, like I kind of was being a little weird here, or like I looked down too much, or whatever it is. Like you'll catch some of those coaching things, and then it's not as big of a deal once you start wanting to do things, that are going to go out to the public. You get less self-conscious about it.
But I will just say, I hope you still sent those, because I always tell people,
absolutely.
Fix it the next time, because we are so incredibly hard on ourselves, and advisors are constantly, they're like, oh, I had too many P's in this one. One side of my hair was flat. Like all these things that nobody's ever noticed. And I'm like an expert critiquer, and they'll even send me videos and like share this before. And I'm like, I didn't notice any of that. Like nobody sees these things that we are so hard on ourselves for.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody cares as much about you as you care about yourself. Like,
yes.
Unless you got a huge piece of spinach in your teeth, like they're not gonna know. It's like,
but it'll make the video memorable. So
they're not gonna forget. I love that. So, okay, people go through the progression of improve your space, get comfortable with just low stakes messages to clients, where they already love you because you do a good job for them. You have a relationship. They're not going to take it too seriously. Bridging the gap into, okay, I want to start doing things that are actually for general consumption. Like I'm going to start posting things to LinkedIn, or I'm going to start posting things to YouTube or Instagram. What's the process that you recommend people, go through in that, okay, they're going to start using it for, public consumption?
Yeah. Start small. Don't start with an 18-minute long YouTube video that you paid $600 for somebody to edit that's going to get 3 views. You'll be so frustrated and you'll be like, video doesn't work. I'm never doing this again. So, right, I usually say start with one platform, right? If you're on LinkedIn, that makes sense. Great. If you're on Instagram, I don't care what the platform is, but start with one platform and short videos. I usually say maximum of 60 seconds, maybe 90, try to keep it under 60 because you just need to get content out there and you need to just start letting people know you exist. It takes time to get that momentum, just like anything else in life, right? If you're starting to exercise, you're not getting results that first week. It takes time. So you kind of really just have to like get that initial content done and you don't know what's going to work. And this is the most frustrating thing. And advisors time and time again, the things that they spend the most time and effort on are the videos that go nowhere. And when they just like pull out their phone and they're like, hey, I just got off a client call. This is the 3rd time I've been asked this week. If you're this kind of client with this question, here are my thoughts. That's the content that gets the best results.
Yeah, no, I love that. And it's funny because when I look through, my past posts and things like that, it's never the thing that you think. Like,
Never.
You can't predict. Like I had a post recently that went, viral for me.
Yeah.
And it was like, I almost didn't post it because I was like, this is stupid. Like nobody's going to give me feedback on this. And then it like blew up. And
yeah,
that's part of it is just kind of like a random numbers game and what's going to hit. And also you're working with a weird algorithm, right? It's like, It could be awesome, phenomenal content that really hits, but you just kind of didn't land the algorithm right that time or whatever it is.
Yep. It could be time of day. It could be day of week. You have no idea.
That's great. And I guess, what's your advice for people to not get discouraged doing this kind of thing?
Like I said, I love it when people are kind of doing this in alignment with like trying to eat better or trying to exercise better or like something else. Even though I try to tell people to keep it simple, I'm like, if you do this with something else, then you realize, right, we don't get immediately results. Just like if you're working with clients that are planning for their future and they're like, oh, I want to have all the money now or all the income now or like have everything done. It's just not how life works. So if you can have something else in your life, you're like, okay, yes, I'm still working towards it. I'm getting there. I'm not seeing results yet, but we just know this happens when you are starting absolutely anything new.
Yeah, I love it. So for people who are advisors who are like, okay, I need to up my game and I need to talk to Katie, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you to learn more about what you do?
So they can learn more, or I always love actually inviting people, if you had an aha moment in this, or if there's something we didn't cover, head to my website, Advisor, ADVISOR, VM for video marketing. So advisorvm.com. And Catherine, in the bottom right of my website, I have a little talk to me button. So you can send me a text message, an audio message, or I always love getting video messages.
There we go. So maybe send Katie a copy of what you got for a video setup and she'll give you
Yeah.
She'll tell you where the dog died. But thank you so much for joining me, Katie. This is such a fun episode. And, I really appreciate your feedback here because this is something that I think a lot of people need to hear. No matter where you are in your planning journey. And, even if you're not a client facing person anymore, everybody's on video these days. It's just the way that the business is run. But Thank you again for joining me. And for those of you listening, there'll be links nearby wherever you're encountering these this podcast to how to get in touch with Katie, how to get in touch with us. We're always looking forward to hearing your feedback, getting a rating. What did you like? What did you not like? And then what would you like more of? But thanks again for joining me, Katie, on the Financial Advisors Want to Know podcast.
Thanks, Catherine. And thanks to everyone who joined.